Hey guys, today we're going to do a Fugly to FAB foot transformation. I'm going to show you how I make my feet look good. Make sure you stay to the end to see my finished results. So if you're not familiar with these videos that I make, it's kind of become like a series now on my channel. This is my third installment of Fugly to FAB where I just show you guys my feet. Clearly today we need some help. I think every time I start these videos, my feet are always so bad. And that's just the reality of somebody who doesn't take time for their feet. So we're gonna start with hair removal. I got this delicious new pot of wax. I love getting fresh pots of wax. It's just so satisfying. It's so deliciously colored too. This one is like a really pretty sea green. And I'm gonna put this all over the hairy parts of my foot. Very simple. Put it on, let it sit, and then once it's hardened, you can remove it by ripping it off. This is what the foot looks like when you remove all of the hair. It looks softer and more beautiful already, but these toenails are a hot mess. So what I'm gonna do is, it's actually a good thing since I grew them out and they're really, really long, because you can make them this really stunning square shape, which is easy to do. You just cut straight across, and then I'm going to go in and start pushing back the cuticles, which is one of the most important parts to making your feet look good again. Push your cuticles back aggressively and then remove all of the buildup. I think this is like protein buildup around the cuticle. I'm using a cuticle scraper to do this, and you can see it's going to get really, really dusty. That is not my nail, that is like the buildup on my nail. So I highly recommend doing this dry. If you have really, really bad feet, like if you haven't taken care of your feet in a while, really take time to do this step because it's going to transform them and make them look amazing. You know how feet are kind of weird, and in general the shape of them is not that flattering, and there's just something about them that just don't really please the eye? Well, why I have chosen to do a square shaped nail today is because it kind of restructures the entire foot and it draws the eye line to the intense square shape that you've created. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a nail file and I'm filing straight across until I'm pleased with the shape. You want it to look really perfectly square, and this is really great if you've grown your nails really, really long. Don't feel bad if you haven't trimmed your nails in a while. It actually makes it a lot easier to create this shape, so that's why it was perfect for today. Sometimes I go with round because I just can't create a square, but if, again, your nails are really, really long, you'll have the opportunity to do whatever shape you like, and I highly recommend the square. So now we've done a lot of the hard work. Even though the toes look worse than they did when we first started, we're actually cleaning up a lot. Now what I have to do is trim around the edge of the nail. You can see there's some skin buildup on the edges, and I'm gonna take my cuticle trimmer and just cut that right off. I'm used to using a cuticle trimmer, so if you've never used one before, I don't recommend starting unless you have hangnails or unless you feel that you need it. I don't recommend doing this because it can be really intense, and once you start, I find that you can't really stop. So I'm personally choosing to do this, but again, I don't recommend doing it if you haven't done it already. So now that the feet look really, really dusty, we need to hydrate them and kind of re-transform the foot and make it look good, which is very easy to do. Using some saran wrap, I'll just put my foot over top and then take my coconut oil, that was the one I'm using today, and I'll put this all around the cuticle, put heavy emphasis on putting this on each toe, wrap your foot up, toss a sock on, and then let it sit there for maybe 10 minutes. You can leave this sitting as long as you like. The longer the better, but we ain't got time for all that. So I'll sit here for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'm gonna take this off. Wow, the foot looks good. At least I think so. When I take these off, it's always a huge transformation for my eyes. I can see all of the work that I put in, and now I can see why I did it, because the cuticles look good, the square shape looks awesome, but it's gonna look even better once we put nail polish on. I never spend much time doing this, but I did forget to just soften my heels a little bit, so I'll do it really, really quick. And then I'm gonna soak my feet in the water to remove the excess oil and make sure that my feet get that relaxation treatment, which is a very important aspect of taking care of yourself. Self-care is actually more than just looking better than you did when you started. It's about feeling like you're putting value into yourself, which is very important. I'm using a little bit of soap in the water because we have so much oil on our feet. I just want to make sure that I get most of it off, but it's good to have that hydration there, so I'm not going to focus too much on scrubbing them. And I also want to make sure that my feet are very clean for the next step. This is very relaxing. Make sure that the water is warm, and you can use just a regular bowl, or you can soak your feet in your bathtub and then use an exfoliator to soften the skin and make them look very, very smooth. Now it's time to draw off the feet and finish up the most exciting part, at least I think, I don't know, every part's so exciting for me, but this is the part where it's going to look really beautiful. Okay, back to basics. First thing, when you're painting your nails, you always want to use a base coat to make sure that the nail polish goes on very smooth. Actually, I did forget something very important. If you did an oil treatment or if you put any kind of hydration on your feet, always make sure you take a nail polish remover and run this over the plate of the nail. I like to apply the base coat pretty thick. I think that it makes the toes look a lot more shiny and really pretty, but this should definitely dry for at least 2.5 minutes before you move on to your color. This design is going to look really good when you have bare feet or sandals, or you're wearing like a heel or something like that and your toes are showing. This is going to be a white base and a marble design over top, which is very, very easy to do, but you want to make sure you have a very strong white base down. So put 2 layers of this and make sure you let it dry in between. We've come a really long way in like 35 minutes. Like, don't forget where we started. It looked a lot worse than this. And this is a really beautiful design if you want to leave it just like this, or not design, but just color. It's such a fresh look. But I'm going to take it a little bit farther and do this glam marble look. This is very easy to do. I'm not going to make a lifetime investment trying to make this look exactly like stone marble. I'm going to show you how you can do it really, really easily. Using some rubbing alcohol and some black polish, I'm going to use the cap of the rubbing alcohol, pour some in, and then put a little bit of black polish around the edge of the cap. Also make sure you have a small little brush that you can use for this design. I'm using a makeup brush. I just took some of the extra bristles off to make it very thin. First step is take your nail polish base coat or your top coat, either one, and then put this over top of the nail while it's still wet. Dip into the rubbing alcohol and a little bit of that black polish. You can add more as you like, and then take that rubbing alcohol to mess up that black polish. What it's going to do is make it look a little bit smoky at first, and then you can use more of that rubbing alcohol while your top coat is still wet and move it around to your desired kind of design. I really like this, especially because it's on the toes. You don't see it as well as you would if it's on the hands, so you can make this look messy. You don't have to be a pro at this, and I highly recommend, if you're really bad at nail art, trying some nail art on your toes because of that exact reason. It's on your feet, and it actually is something you'll get a lot of compliments on because it's just out of the ordinary to have such a beautiful design on your toes. So try it out. If you're nervous about it, don't feel like it's, you know, the end of the world if it doesn't look perfect. I'm definitely doing a total hack job, not making it look perfect at all, and I love the way it turned out. The laws of contouring, like lighting something to make it look bigger and darkening something to make it look smaller, will always apply to your feet. So if you have very big feet and very small toenails, make sure that you leave a lot of light color on the toe to make it look bigger and even out the shape of your toe versus your actual foot. So lastly, I'm going to finish up with the big toe, and I highly recommend doing it how I did, where you start with the second toe, move on from there, and then tackle your big toe last, because the big toe is really going to be the leader in the design, and it's going to kind of give the eye the idea of what the rest of the design looks like. So even if you did a really bad job on all 4 toes, but the big toe looks good, it's going to give the illusion that all of them kind of follow the same pattern. So once you're done, add a top coat to seal in the design and make sure that this is very thick to give you a gel super profesh finish. I hope you guys enjoyed this marble toe look. It was definitely a 0 to 100 type of situation, and it was definitely worth all of the work that it took. If you guys love this design, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more Fugly to Fab, definitely make sure you rate this video a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in my next video, and I love requests, so keep commenting. I love you guys. Bye-bye.